officials to broadcast emergency alerts and warning messages to the public via cable, satellite, and radio. It was implemented in 1997, replacing an older alert system, and is usually used for local weather warnings or emergencies, though it is not perfect. When the wrong message is broadcasted to the public, it can cause a panic and hysteria. On January 13, 2018, at exactly 8:04 a.m. in Hawaii, the Hawaii Emergency Management System sent out an EAS, a warning of an inbound ballistic missile, and the alert claimed that it was not a drill. It read, "Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill." Hawaiians all received that message straight to their phones. In their televisions, they heard the following message. The U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile threat to Hawaii. The missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill. The television broadcast stated, "If you are indoors, stay indoors. If you are outdoors, seek immediate shelter in a building. Remain indoors well away from windows. If you are driving, pull safely to the side of the road and seek shelter in a building or lay on the floor. We will announce when the threat has ended. This is not a drill. Take immediate action measures." Of course, chaos ensued. Hundreds ran for cover at a gymnastics meet in Kailua. Motorists sped to find cover. No missile threat to Hawaii. The problem? They sent it out in a tweet. The message didn't even reach those who weren't on the social media platform. Another 18 minutes went by before the emergency alert system alerted all mobile devices that it was a false alarm. It turns out an employee had accidentally pressed the wrong button. Instead of activating the drill, he activated the real alert. Mistakes with the EAS can be serious. While many false or accidental messages have been mistakes, the system has also been hijacked in the past. It was a Monday morning, February 12, 2013. The Steve Wilkos Show was on KRTV, which is a local channel in Great Falls, Montana. In New York, some were watching The Bachelor. Others a show on the CW or Pancake infomercials. They all got the same message. Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living.
The bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous. I repeat, civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous. This warning applies to all areas receiving this broadcast. Tune in to 9:20 a.m. to get updated information in the event that you are separated from your television or if electrical service is interrupted.
What is known is how the EAS system was hacked. The EAS uses decoders that allow authorities to interrupt broadcasts. The company that makes these decoders, Monroe Electronics, released public firmware updates for DASDEC 1 and DASDEC 2, which are the decoders utilized by the EAS. This firmware update included a private root security shell key. Now, I know this is a lot of techie stuff, but stick with me. What it means is that with this information, anyone with the skills can use it to manipulate any emergency alert system. Monroe Electronics released a firmware update to fix their prior mistake 2 months after the hijacking incident. Signal hijackings also seem to have their place during wartime. These incidents aren't new to the Russia-Ukraine region, but they have increased dramatically since the invasion. In January 2023, television signals in Crimea were hijacked and broadcasted a speech by Ukrainian President Zelensky. The next month, in February, hackers struck again. This time, Crimean radio stations were hijacked to broadcast Ukraine's national anthem and a speech by Kirilo Budanov, the head of Ukraine's military intelligence. False warnings of inbound missiles were broadcasted in the same month, all across Russia. On May 9th, Russian satellite TV guides were hacked. Instead of displaying channel information, "You have blood on your hands" could be seen. It was Russian Victory Day, and every channel was bombarded with anti-war slogans. You have the blood of thousands of Ukrainians and hundreds of dead children on your hands. The TV and the authorities are lying was another one of the quotes. On June 5th, 2 local Crimean channels, Rossiya and Friday, were hijacked. The video showed Ukraine soldiers staring into the camera as they held up a finger to their lips. It was followed by a message. Plans like silence. There will be no announcement that it's starting. 2 fighter jets soar in the sky and a man's voice says, "Shh." Hackers have been enacting these hijackings since the Russian invasion, sometimes with a serious message, but also to troll. Since the 1980s, a mysterious signal has been transmitted from the middle of nowhere in Russia. The signal is known as the buzzer and has spawned countless theories. The buzzer is a shortwave radio station broadcasted on 4625 kilohertz. In the beginning, it transmitted a 2-second beep over and over again. And then in the 1990s, it transmitted a buzz repeating at a rate of 25 per minute, 24 hours a day. In 2003, it changed again. This time it was a higher tone that lasted longer. And if you tune in now, it's back to the familiar 1990s sound. It rarely deviates from these repeating tones, but every once in a while, the buzzing stops and voices can be heard. At first, these voice messages were extremely rare. In 1997, a man's voice read something like the following: Ya UVB-76, and then Ya-UVB7, 18008, Bromall 74 27 99 14, Boris, Roman, Olga, Mikhail, Anna, Larissa, 7437914. In 2001, another message was heard. I am 143, not receiving the generator. The stuff comes from hardware room. Behind the buzzing, muted and unintelligible voices can be heard, as well as the occasional noises. This has led many to believe that this is not some pre-recorded tone. Instead, it is a manually produced sound. The buzzer went silent in 2010, and it resurfaced later from a different location and a different name. The former transmitter was located in a remote Russian village near Povarovo, Russia, 10 kilometers northwest of Moscow. It was then moved near St. Petersburg next to the village of Karo-Massiv. UVB-76 became MDZHB, and after this move, when a male voice interrupted the regular buzzing sound, said, Mikhail, Dmitry, Senya, Boris, MDZHB. The Russian government has never stated what the purpose of the buzzer is, further fueling conspiracy theories. Some believe the buzzard had heard about me on the news and if everything was alright. I explained to her the thing about the sign, the joke I made. She laughed but said to simply keep it to myself for a little while and that people would forget. She knew my sense of humor. And she was right. People did forget. But it really made me think about how people take things too seriously nowadays. When I was growing up, things were simpler. A bully went away with pure muscle. Jokes were jokes. There was no point to it, though. I always felt like I needed to keep my opinion to myself. Except with the old friends, I guess. The ones that were still around this godforsaken town anyway. And thank goodness nobody recorded those conversations. A couple more days after that, the phone calls from the reporters stopped. And over the next week, the neighbors stopped lurking around the front yard and taking photos. I could finally take out the trash without feeling the eyes from the houses across the street staring at me through the window. But it was one of those things that I'll never forget. I mean, the sign was funny. Well, to me. And I still kept it in my garage. It made me laugh whenever I passed by it and remembered the whole ordeal. The reporters and Waterkid's mom only made me laugh even more. I mean, you've ever seen white eyes with eyelashes that reach a hairline? Yelling and spitting in anger in front of a little chicken kid? Speaking of that, the kids stopped showing up in the front yard, so my mission was indeed complete. And that was the whole purpose of this thing. But still, there's something. Only one thing that really bothered me out of this whole situation. And I thought about it at night sometimes. And how they got my number. It happened a while after the whole thing had finally settled down. It was strange. One afternoon, I was sitting on the couch, flicking through the channels on the television, when my phone rang. The Scary Plus are helping me fund a brand new podcast about scary places. And of course, for all the stuff that comes along with managing all these shows. Anyway,